Man, oh man, oh man. It's been a week. It's been real difficult, Rod, to stay out of the comment section.
You got to do it. Be strong. You got to be strong.
It's been difficult, man. And I was going back and forth with someone. It just and it's like before long you realize he's not even that serious.
What are they saying? Who's saying it? And does it make? And why are they
Consider
saying
the
it?
source, right?
Consider the source.
But look, I had a few things I wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
James Wiseman, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing, I was kind of going through issues this year. Like, what are the issues? What are the things that we want to see this team improve on? What are the like check boxes like coming into next season that we believe these are things that we need to see them if they haven't taken like a huge step forward? You know, you want to at least know that these are things they've put some attention to. So those are kind of my two chief things, James
Mm-hmm.
Wiseman, and kind of like what areas of improvement or issues you want to kind of see this team get better at. But let me get this intro going. Let me get this intro. What up, though, people? It is your boy Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. And look, I'm running on fumes right now. This is probably going to be the longest week of the season, Rod. Like 4 home games. 12:30 at night, man, getting them articles cranked out, getting the content out on the concourse. But you know what? It's all worth it, man. It's been a fabulous opportunity and time. But Jeff Freddy's already on the morning Woodward show. I'm actually going to be talking to him this morning on that
Wow.
show. Yeah,
Wow.
I think I will make sure that he's a real person and not a bot. I will
And I'm.
remember the password. I remember it. Finis Dimbo. I remember it. I
Mm-hmm.
remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure he knows it this time. But let's get you properly introduced into the show, brother. Hey, yo, shout out to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard, bro. How's it going this morning?
Oh, it's going, man. It's going. It's we're at the middle of the week, so it'll be a couple more days, and we'll be sliding into the weekend.
I thought that too, but we got a game Saturday night, so home game. That'll be awesome.
Saturday home games are like the Saturday road games might be the worst. Saturday home games are at least you can go home and sleep in your bed. On the road, well, on the road you can go out somewhere on a Saturday. It's a mixed bag. It kind of depends on where you are.
Oh man, you know it's honestly pretty fun. The one thing I could say is with the interactions and the trivia and the questions and just kind of interacting with the fans on the LCA concourse this year. The fans in the building, they see the hope, they see the vision, they see the value of the team being down there. I talked to a guy last night. His name was Brandon Avery, best name in the world. I let him know he thought so too. He thought his name was just awesome as well. His son Zaire, man, shout out to them. They just left an impression, and he was actually one of the people who helped to lay the concrete in LCA. But
Oh
this was
wow.
his first time being in the building. So he was like, you know what? He said he knows the a lot of the bad reps that the city can get, and sometimes these sports teams can get. But he said for him, the city has made him better. It's made his son better. You know, his son looked like he was probably about 10 years old, maybe 10 years old. And he said he was grateful that he got the opportunity to make Detroit look that much better. So it was pretty cool. A lot of fans, they're really on the hope train. They're like, yo, we love Cade, we love Ivy, we love Duren, we like what Troy is trying to do with some of these younger guys, and we can't wait till next year. You know, it's been interesting, man, just kind of being there and being amongst it. And on the Saturday nights that I have been there, it's felt like this was like the main ticket. You know, certain
Mhm.
games where you're like, there's not going to be anybody here, and we're just like, why is there like 15 to 17,000 people here? It's been a breeze, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no, I think people have gotten the fatigue of you want to see Cade, you want to see this team at full strength, and you don't have that. And so I get it when people say, "Hey, there's nothing to see, there's nothing to watch." I think you're just looking for stuff that you can take into next year and say, "Here's something that I like. Ooh, look at Ivy being a different kind of Ivy." then
Mm.
that's something that can flow into next year if he's handling the ball and working off the dribble and double-digit assists. Okay, let's see what this looks like with everybody back. I think that's the key.
Yep, yep. And you know what? Not just talking about the issues or things we want to see them improve on, Rod. With some of the talks I wanted to get into with James Wiseman, it was going to be about the good things that we see. If there's any other players like Ivy or whoever that you want to bring up, definitely by all means talk about them, because the team has been very, very vocal about, after the injuries and especially after Cade Cunningham went down, the season really, really became about development. It became about growth. It became about playing and learning from certain situations, just like the game against the Wizards. That was a tough one. That was a tough one. I'm going to talk about that one. But we'll kind of get into that now. Some of the improvements. I listed that one of the traits I thought was kind of glaringly exposed this year was the Pistons' need for toughness. Not that they don't play hard. I put that right in the article's byline. This is not to be confused with effort or anything of that nature. But as it relates to having those kind of gritty, tough guys, kind of like what we talk about. Hey, maybe Killian Hayes needs to go play this American style of pickup ball so that then he can kind of have this kind of a different hardened experience as it relates to, this style of basketball. And so, I know Troy Weaver talked about it as well when they made the acquisition for James Wiseman, stating, listen, a lot of the teams that's beat us up this year have been teams that kind of have these bigger guys, or if they're not bigger, they play that tougher, kind of menacing role, similar to Isaiah Stewart. But he said that he needs guys that are a little bit taller in the front court. And hopefully we've identified that on the wing and within the guard position, they're missing somebody sorely that can kind of play a little bit more physical. I don't know what the word necessarily is. I went with tough. And so last night it was a little tough, man, to see them literally like a day after kind of writing. You don't want to see this team losing by a rebound. To see that be the case last night. And that was, for me, one of my chief things that I'm hoping gets figured out or gets improved heading into next year is I think that health is going to improve a lot of that, because they're missing guys like Stewart and Duren, Cade Cunningham, who's tough. When he's out there on the court, he's tough, man. And you can ask all the other stars. But I want to get your take on that, as well as what are some other things you think this team should be or will have shored up by next year?
I think some of the chemistry will be shored up where you see guys and Ivy with Cade today, or earlier this season, you could tell it didn't quite fit together. You wanted to see a little bit more of that sort of everything is together. They know what they're doing with the ball and they know how to play off of each other. So I think the chemistry is fine, but it will be better where those guys know, hey, I've got the ball. I'm on this side. On the weak side, I know what I'm doing. And how to get the ball to the right spots and to the right people. And I think all of the Ivy time and being able to play without Cade will help him play with Cade, but it'll also help when you need to play them separately, that you don't have you have an additional ball handler out there and distributor out there now. Ivy's not on the level of Cade, but you're seeing that he can create for himself. And he had the one toward the end last night where he drove, kind of stopped, pulled up for the midi, and got the bounce.
Yeah,
that was late in the fourth quarter, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
that's in the bag too. That's what we're doing. Okay, all right. So I think that's a Cade-like shot, but I think having a Cade and a Cade light on the court at the same time will be very valuable. But when you have to separate them and they can't play together, or foul trouble or injury or whatever, you've got another guy who can create and facilitate for other guys. I think that's going to be something big going into next year.
Right. Now, this is one of the questions that we had for Ivy. We were wondering, especially during the draft preview, before he was even drafted, can he play make? Is he somebody that can kind of take the pressure off of Cade Cunningham? Is he somebody that can not just take the ball handling pressure, but that kind of scorer's role, that superstar, that star kind of scorer mentality? I'm not going to say superstar, but that star mentality role that we saw Cade Cunningham starting to play with. And it really, really factored into how he played down the stretch as well.
Mhm.
Jaden Ivey, especially since he's kind of not just played without Cade, but moved into like that main facilitator role, he's
Mhm.
just continued to blossom as the opportunities have come, as they've asked him to do more. Shout out to Jeff Freddie. You know, what is it? What has he been asked to do? He's just continued to blossom. His playmaking and I think more or less his leadership. I can tell that he wants to lead. Where I
Mhm.
believe Cade came in a little bit more polished with his playmaking and had previously been in those leadership positions on in college and in high school. I believe Ivy is learning those roles
Mhm.
and feeling comfortable with the ball in his hands. And Casey stated this. I do want to be fair. Last night, the play was, before it ever got to them having to play defense and losing on a rebound, the play was to get the ball into Jaden Ivey's hands and
Mhm.
let it be his decision to make. And honestly, the Wizards, they knew that. They
Yeah.
overplayed, they overplayed so tough. Bro, that's respect. That's respect because you're right. He came down a couple times and hit that mid-range shot. A couple times he got some swishes. That one with the bounce was like everybody, man, was on the edge of their seat. Because he had missed a couple right before that.
Mhm.
And they had gotten down a little bit. He kind of brought them back, hit that little bounce, and like when it first hit the rim, you can dude, you hear people behind me like, it was like even us in the media, man, we were just like,
Yay! Got a little body English to make that thing
yeah.
go in there.
You can tell people like for his maturation, man, just for how tough it's been. For the people who all they're seeing are losses, and they're not seeing this team is trying to get it right at the end of the games. They're drawing up the plays, they're practicing it, they're trying to get it right, man. Y'all don't understand how much
Yeah.
they might be working on it because you're just seeing maybe similar results. So to see him kind of get into that paint and starting to look clutch, looking big game moment, seeing it in his face, seeing the other star players saying, "Nah, I gotta check Ivy." I
Mhm.
don't know, man. I kind of liked it. I liked it.
See, the other piece of that is when they try to deny Cade with that next year, now you've got Ivy as the secondary. So he's going to learn from those experiences and being able to, I don't want to say fail, but not come through that a point guard needs to go get the ball. Go get the
Yeah.
ball. And a playmaker, go get the ball. It don't let them deny you. Set a screen, run around a screen to do whatever to get open to get that ball because you
You
have to want it
mentally want it.
in that situation. Yep. Before the inbounder even gets there, coming out of that huddle, you want the ball.
Mhm.
And whatever it takes to get there, you should be able to do that. And if that's what they get out of this year, that he becomes, I want to say he's a dog in that he becomes that I want that. He's got that dog in him. Then hey, this was a success to be able to go through that and to turn him into. It's one thing because people will say yeah he played point guard in college for Purdue and he handled a little bit in the league. It's a animal with. When you're in the league, you got pressure or G or somebody like that is guarding you coming up the court. That's completely different.
Yep. Yep. It's with Ivy. It's been a situation where it went from a rookie who I'm like, okay, he's good. He's looking like he could be a good second player to Cade Cunningham to a guy who I'm like, yo, you've heard me state it again over and over and over again. This is more like Batman and Superman. These are two stars in the making, just in my opinion.
Mhm.
I've been overzealous with certain players in the past, and that was on potential. With Ivy
Mhm.
and Cade in particular, I've just decided let me sit back and let's listen to what other people are saying, and let's look at what their stats are saying. Let's look at what they're doing in certain positions. Let's look at who's choosing to guard them. Let's looking at the respect that the other teams are giving these guys. That's a little bit different than what we've done in the past. In the past, like with Stanley Johnson, we we gave it to him on effort. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And sometimes that's not bad, when you want to be able to get behind your young guys. But what we see Ivy doing with the stats that he's putting up with the consistency, did we really, bro, we were just sitting up here bumping our gums about Cade Cunningham. Everybody, 17 points and what, 17, 5 and 3 or 5 and 4 as a rookie. Yo, that post All-Star, man, that's amazing. Yo, he averaged 17 points. Ivy is doing the same thing, bro. Like, that's what kind of makes us a little bit different, and it's making me start to really start to lean into this, even though for this season and last season it's been more or less about trying to keep my expectations measured, metered, more in line with what I'm seeing other, professional takes have, and not that my take caters to theirs, but just letting it wait, letting things marinate, seeing where things going. And as the season is winding down, I looked up like, man, it's not a lot of games left, but Ivy is still doing this. Where's that rookie wall? It's made me really excited for what we're supposed to see next year. Which, one more point on this thing, or at least for me on this, I think a lot of people miss this one point. If this was to win now, I absolutely shred this year. There would be no reason to not. But if this was about rebuilding truly in a process, and you're signing up for 3-4 years, you're signing up for that. And you know that these years may look putrid. Like you look at the 76ers, bro, they had some years where they were kind of up, and then a lot of years where they were down. Then they got Joel Embiid, and they were super down. Then they got another player, went up for a little bit, then went down, then stability. And that was like over 7 years. We're in literally like year 3 of Troy Weaver, year 2 of the rebuild. So I get excited. I told somebody about those comments I told you about. I get excited about Duren, Ivy, Cade Cunningham, because I've never seen a GM put together that much high-level talent that outsiders are talking about before so quickly in my life. I've never seen that. So I'm excited about those 3. I'm excited about Isaiah Stewart. I really am. I'm excited about the fact that our GM can go out there and sign guys or trade or acquire guys like Bojan Bogdanovic and Jeremy Grant and sign them for honestly below their market value. We see what Jeremy Grant's about to get. We see what Bojan Bogdanovic could have commanded. So it's like those things to me. And now you're going to equip this guy with the summer of Charlie V and Ben Gordon levels of money. Come on, man. And another high-level draft pick. That's masterful. That excites me. I'm excited for next season. If he flubs that, it's a little bit different question. A little bit different question.
Let me give you this. Last 8 games for Ivy: 17.1 points, 6.8 assists, 3.6 rebounds, and take a guess what he's shooting from 3 in his last 8 games.
Bro, I'm still stuck on the almost 7 assists per game, bro. But from 3,
he's got 13 and 12 in his last 2 games.
Wow,
career highs. Career highs was 13, and he got 12 last night.
3-point
from 3 in his last 8 games, and take into account 0 for 6 Portland. That's included in this. He's shooting 36% from 3.
I was gonna say 35.
Including,
I was gonna say 35.
35.7. That's we'll give it to you. You get both showcases. 35.7, including in 0 for 7. That's I'm cherry picking stats, but that's his last 8 games.
And you know what? That Portland game, he was pressing. There, Portland. When you look at that game, man, they were playing a physical brand of basketball, a very physical brand of basketball. The guards were not really letting him get comfortable. They look like, like when you play with people that like they show up at the park, and then you're just like, oh, okay, yeah. It just kind of looked like that. Like they just kind of knew Jaden Ivey, and they were on him. They were press. He was pressing. Looked like he was kind of taking a few shots that are a little bit more uncharacteristic. I was eager to see the bounce back. And so this game, like you said, another career high in assists. Goodness gracious, man. I'm excited, and I'm glad that he's putting this stuff out there, and that the stats are bearing out and proving what they prove, rather than us having to just hope or just go on like potential, or just wondering how's it going to look when it's all figured out.
Yeah, it's people are going to see what they want to see. You look for progressions, you look for small little things, and um, that is a sample size of 8 games, which is fair to kind of take and say, all right, well, let's look at that and let's see a trend. Let's see, but you compare that with the eye test and pair it up with the eye test, and you say, okay, now what is this telling us? It's telling us that he's handling the ball better, he's distributing better, and he's shooting just as well. So if that jumper is paired up with better ball handling, better facilitating, then what do you get when Cade comes back? That's a question. That's something you got to
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah, I love it. But I wanted to talk to you before we get out of here. I know this is going to be a short one about James Wiseman. The things that you believe are going to be like better next year, like the things that you are looking forward to next year. For me, it is James Wiseman. I talked to a couple people last night, some fans. I talked to some media, and people are very, very intrigued. You know, another game last night where he scored very, very effectively and efficiently, 21 points. And I'm, you know, after 3 weeks ago, sitting on here and chuckling about if he was a bust or not, I'm sitting here now like, yo, I am very, I feel like I've let you down. You told me to. You're like, no, there's some meat on the bone still. And you know what? People probably were like, Rod is over here. What does Rod know?
I mean, is that essentially a draft pick? When it's said and done, is he essentially just a draft pick? Because he hasn't played a full season. What was the number of games that he had played? It was something like 6.
It was below. Was it 61?
60, like 40? How many games has he played in his career? Where is he? There he is. 68. I mean, come on, man. And 8 of those are, so he played 60 games. That was the number, 60.
Yeah.
60 games, and the dude is 21. That's essentially a draft pick. You got a draft pick that now Golden State, several players, several front office people were like, yeah, we didn't really want to do that.
Owner.
We didn't really want to do that. It's like when you play in cards and you put a card out, you're like, ooh, I didn't mean, can I get that one back?
Yeah.
This isn't Oklahoma City saying I messed up and we released a player or something. This is Golden State saying, money-wise, we just had to do it. And we didn't really have a choice, but we would really have liked to have kept him.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, but Troy's a terrible GM and we're just carrying his water. Oh, and let's look at the 10-day contract that he just picked up, Eugene Omoyuri.
I just tweeted about him. My goodness, man. You talk about writing an article about toughness and kind of seeing a mix of everything. You know, this team, you know, seeing where they can improve in that matter, because I think they've taken steps this year in it. Their effort and their playing hard has been there. But that Eugene, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, like Dwayne Casey said last night. But yo, talk about an injection of just like, I don't know, toughness. I liked it.
But see, I want to see it all kind of come together. I want to see them re-sign Hami for a reasonable number.
Yeah.
I want to see what all of these pieces look like. I want to see Boyan come back. I want to see them go get a lanky wing and bring him in and see what Duren looks like with some more seasoning. I just think people are looking at and talking about the improvement that OKC's made this year. And I think the Pistons can make a similar type of improvement where you're just like, oh, all right, young team, strung some wins together, or maybe even the Kings. They don't have as many young players, and it might not be as dramatic a turnaround as that. But okay, all right, I see something there that you might have or the Pelicans even, that, okay, you go get CJ and you get Zion back. but you start to see some things that are there. OKC is right there
Yeah.
in that conversation of being in the playing game. So I think there's a lot that's there that you just wait and see. There's stuff to be excited about, and there's nothing like, okay, this guy is trash. Is there anybody on this roster that you're like, they put all of this stock into this guy and he's trash? It's not Bagley. It's not Stewart. It's not. I don't think there's anybody that you can look at and say this was a horrible thing. There will be the Killian people, but
It's still not trash though. You know, those you could say it was a miss or you missed on Halliburton. So there's a lot of other teams, but it's not trash. If he's your third point guard, like if he's your third ball handler rather than Corey Joseph next year, that's a huge upgrade. Huge upgrade. I don't know what decision they're gonna make with Killian, but he's proven to be a serviceable NBA point guard, man. He just has.
And that's not what you want with a number 7 pick.
No.
But if that's what you get out of it, that's okay. That's it's
Especially if you
in the
Jaden
big
Ivey
scheme,
after.
right? But in the big scheme of things, is it the worst thing in the world? Is there anybody on this roster? Are you stuck with a ridiculous contract that you need to get off of? No. Are you stuck with a player that is just he just doesn't fit anything that we're trying to do, and we had to take on a bad one to get this other guy that there's no bad contracts on this team, not one. And you got space going into next year. That's what I'm looking forward to, is now that you kind of righted this roster and gotten your books right, and you have a presumable top 5 or top 6 draft pick, what the offseason can look like, because you can be a player in the draft and you can be a player in free agency, and you have a good young roster already. What is the rest of that next stage of that look like?
So you mean to tell me then that fans, the vocal fans that are pretty upset at this year and yelling about wins and losses are the people who will be at a hibachi screaming like in the middle, like in halfway through the process that the food's not done?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, look, the veggies gotta cook, the rice gotta cook. Let my man crack the egg into the rice, please. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're kind of in that phase. Can the meat get done? We don't want anybody getting sick, right? Like these things, it takes time. But Rod, you had hibachi, right? From Benihana's to Kobe's down, steakhouse down in Orlando, bro. When it's done, it is done, bro. And you let your chef cook. But they'll every now and then they'll fling like a mushroom over to you or something that they've sauteed. They will. And you eat it, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna wait around for this one. And that's, for me at least, that's what this process is. It's like, man, we didn't show up to, this is not Chinese food, bro. It's not like that. Like, we can get that. We can get the Chinese takeout. This is certified hibachi. And I'm like, look, just let them cook. Bro, James Wiseman's last 5 games, 13.2 points, 7.4 rebounds, 1.4 blocks per game, man. Like, I'm just like, you know what? Let's let this GM cook. Let's let him cook, man.
Yeah, but that's the impatience that people want to have, is we need to make decisions now. Bro, are you making the playoffs this year? No. So what's the rush for? You sat down to have hibachi. It's gonna take a while. You can't get it to go because you're hungry now and you're ready to go. You can't get it to go. The way hibachi is done is kind of, you got to sit there and let that stuff cook. It's exactly what you said. You let that cook. And when it's ready, it's ready. But you got to watch him cook it. Even if you've been to Benihana 17 times and you've seen the entire show, you've seen the onions, you see him do the little choo-choo train thing, you've seen all of that. You know what a rebuild looks like. If you're really following what's going on, you know what a rebuild looks like, and it's going to be some ugly losses. And I sat here and watched the game last night, and I'm like, oh, this is what it's going to be. Oh, man, a weak side rebound and put back at the buzzer. That we know what this is. But does Jalen Duren give up that rebound? Probably not. So what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't want to hear people complain about one more thing this season. I'm done listening to complaints. What do you want? What do you want them to do? They've won 15 games. You want them to go out there and win more? Do you want them to mess up the draft pick now?
Just to give people more things to complain about.
Right. So even if they win, what do they have? 16 games left. They run off 16 straight and they get to 31. You're like, whoop-de-doo. This is a team now. Well, you're picking what? 8th, 10th? Is that what you want? People want to win to say, hey, we won, and there's a bigger picture in this whole thing. People, man.
You said 31 wins. Listen, bro. I'll leave you with this one before we close up. I had one of these comments, man. I'm gonna try and find it and send it to you. This man said, if we change coaches, if we just switch coaches, we'll rattle off enough wins to make the playoff this year. The play-in this year.
This year?
This year, man. I sat there for so long. I was like, bro, you are trolling. You have to. I actually responded. I was like, you got to be trolling. I looked at his page. I'm like, yo, he's dedicated to it if he's trolling. I'm just like, what in the world? Like, you really believe at this juncture that this team was only a coach away? Cade is on the bench. Jalen Duren is on the bench. Isaiah Stewart is on the bench. Bojan Bogdanovic is on the bench, bro.
Let me give you some quick math. With the win last night, the Wizards got to 31 wins. The Pistons are at 15. If the Pistons win the last 16 games, they will get to 31 wins. Guess what, bro? They are out of the play-in right now. They are out of consideration officially. When they start putting the little X's and Y's and Z's of eliminated from playoff consideration, the Pistons will be the first, and it will happen like tomorrow.
And any Cluden fan should be doing this when it happens.
Bro, they could make the play-in this year? What are we doing?
I'm going to frame that one, man. I'm about to start doing a hall of tweets or something like that.
If we switch coaches today, oh man,
I'm gonna start doing it. I hope it doesn't encourage more of these types of tweets, but I have.
It does, and that's the thing, is that it does.
You know what, man? This was a good one, man. This was a good one. I'm about
They're all good.
About to zip. Get in this content with Jeff Iafrady. I will, like I said, I'll ensure that he is a real person and not a bot. But
check this box. I am not a robot.
Hey, including those people who screaming and yelling at the hibachi chef. It's like, bro, he just put the onion on there, man. Like give it time. Can he squirt the oil on there first?
Give me a shrimp. Throw a shrimp this way. They want the entire thing of shrimp before he's even done cooking it. The shrimp ain't done, bro. What do you?
They want a whole bowl. Hey, can I get a little bowl of shrimps?
Oh, man.
Going. Look, man. Hey, hold on. There's Jeff right behind me. Jeff and Gentry Show. Hey, listen, for Jeff Iafrady, who's on the Morning Woodward Show, Mr. Everything. My name is Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, and I'm about to get this drum roll going for the legend. Hey, yo, shout out to Detroit News, Rob Beer, brother. Thank you. This was awesome, awesome, awesome talk, as always. Until next time, man.
All right. Be easy, man.
Yes, sir.